Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, you're very welcome. I'm Jane and my husband Mike does everything behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we invite you in for a mid-week money chat. Now I know from the backstage of YouTube that the viewers of this channel are over 45. I also know most of you in America, second lot of you are in the UK, and the rest of you are from all over the rest of the world. But I know your ages, and I know, because I was late to frugality, that it is never too late to be frugal and reap the rewards. Frugality is all about being careful with our money so we can all save more by spending less. But what if you're a spender? What if you like spending money? What if you just don't track your spending all that well, or you're not really good at tracking your budget all that well? So in this week's chat, we're going to look at some easy strategies of ways of just slipping into that behavior of being more of a saver than we are spenders. If I were to ask you about your budget, you would be okay with the big numbers and you would have those under control because most of them are non-negotiable. Your mortgage, your rent, your insurance payments, your electricity bill. You know what I'm talking about. But what I want you to do for 1 month is not track the big things because they just go out automatically, don't they? What I want you to do for an entire month is track all of the spending that you do with a debit card, or maybe you use a credit card, or maybe you're using your phone with Apple Pay. I want you to record every single payment that you make with that. And that includes your online shopping as well. Anytime that you buy food, whether it's food to take home and cook, or you just pick up some milk or some meat or some vegetables on your way home from work, or the children say to you, "Oh, Mum, I need something for school. Can we pop in and get that?" Or you're just getting things for the grandchildren, or you're giving them any money. And that includes anytime you go and draw out any money as well. I want you to record that. Whether you do it as a voice message to yourself, you write it in a diary, you type it into your phone, or you just put it on a notepad. I want you to do that. And I want you to get into the habit of doing that every single day. If you can manage 1 week, do a week. 2 weeks, do 2 weeks. At best, build it up to a month. And the purpose of that is to you to see the patterns of where you are spending the money that you may have not tracked it previously. Because this is where you can get a little bit back by taking your choices, making your choices. Say, well, I will go out and spend money at the supermarket, but I will set a budget and I will stick to the budget. So I will stay within those workable numbers, giving me maybe another $100, euros, pounds, whatever, to save each month. So there you go. That's the first thing I want you to do. Trust the process on this one. It really does help you to see where that money is going, because I just think it's where money can drip out if we're not careful. I want you to imagine the week has gone by, the 2 weeks have gone by, or let's say the whole month has gone by, and you've looked at that whole list of receipts, you've written them all down, you've tracked it all in one way or another. And I want you, with your choices, to look at those things that you could reduce, that you could cut back, that you could make more reasonable. And I want you to start to make decisions in advance. I'm not saying don't go out and eat. I'm not saying don't go out and coffee. Not saying don't go out and spend money on your children or your grandchildren. What I'm saying is, set the budget in advance. So if it's 100, stick to the 100. If it's 300, stick to the 300. But I want you to also have a look at things from that week of spending or from that month of spending that actually you could cut out. It's your choice, remember. Before we get on to some very easy saving strategies, I want you to then go and look at all of your annual expenses or your infrequent expenses, or maybe some of these might happen only every 2 years. I'm just thinking, like, I go for an eye exam every 2 years. It cost me 25 euros, but it's 25 euros I need to think about. And then I go and buy a new set of glasses. Well, if I were to go and buy glasses here in France and not get them on my insurance, they could cost me around 250 euros for a pair of glasses. Maybe that would be on a deal, maybe buy one, get one free. But nonetheless, it still would be a chunk of money if I had to pay for it. I'm sure you have to pay for it wherever you live. I want you to go away and compile a list by looking back at bank statements, looking back at your credit card statements, because some of you in other countries use a credit card to pay and then you pay it off each month. I want you to go back and look at a whole year of those expenses that you may have forgotten about. When did you last put tyres on the car? When is your car service due? When do you have any maintenance done on your house? Do you have the central heating system serviced? Do you have the central cooling system serviced? Just as examples. But these are the ones that we can easily forget if we don't schedule them. Go back and have a look, write them down. And this is the next tip for you. Get yourself a calendar or get yourself a good diary for next year. And because we're coming up to the school terms, those diaries are out now. They don't just come out at Christmas time for the new year. They come out for the new academic year as well. And start penciling that in. Even better than that, if you can get a wall chart, stick it somewhere. Stick it on the back of the wardrobe door. Is it small enough to stick up in the hallway or the kitchen? Somewhere where you can track all those things that are going on. You've got to track things anyway, haven't you? You've got to put up, the next physical exam you've got at the doctor's or the next eye exam you've got. So you've got to track those, but just get up there as well so it's visual and you can see it and you're prepared for it and you're ready for it. Those things that are going to cost you money as well, even if they're going to be in about a year's time. Let's get on to some saving strategies now, because I'm sure some people just think to themselves, I really need to start up a savings fund. I really need to save some money. And that is just ephemeral, isn't it? I think for me, it needs to have a title. It needs to have a job to do in the future. And that's why I like smaller savings pots that are for the year and maybe a bigger savings pot that is for 5 years, and set myself those monthly targets. And I do that by working out the overall cost of everything, how long it's going to save, it's going to cost me to save up for that. And obviously breaking that down into monthly chunks, giving me that sort of achievable, realistic, time-limited savings. Here's an example. We all save for Christmas. We all know that's 12 months every time. So we're saving on a 12-month cycle, aren't we? And the first time we save for that is when we get paid in December. We've already bought the Christmas presents, we've already bought the Christmas food, we've already bought the Christmas bottle of wine. And then when we get paid at the end of December, that's when we start saving for the December next year. So we do that. We can just apply that method to whether that's saving for the air conditioning to be topped up for the car, saving for the boiler service. That ain't cheap, is it? Sailing, that would be nice. Saving for sailing. Saving for something you need for your house. When your fridge freezer's on the blink, you think to yourself, well, I've had a look for those. They're 800 euros new. I need to get a savings fund together because in the next 2 years, it's going to go toes up. Give yourself a savings fund with a name. And this really helps me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I promise you it helps me. Stick a picture of what I'm saving on the office wall, somewhere we sit, somewhere we work. It is on the office wall. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that helps me. Tell me if you've got a strategy for helping you remember what you are saving for. You know that expression, pay yourself first? I've decided I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm just going to call it what it is. Make the first line or lines on your budget savings. That's it. So once you've decided on whatever you've saved for or saving for, once you've decided how you're going to give yourself the visual clues to remind yourself of what you're saving for, might be Christmas, might be a son or daughter's wedding, might be a trip somewhere, might be retirement, might be fixing your car, whatever it is, use whatever method, whether it's, I told you, I like to get a photo of something representative on the office wall. Once you've done that, give it a name, and give it a name on your budget line. Whether it could be your emergency fund, and it could be you've set your target, and it could be 10 a month, it could be 50 a month, it could be whatever you can afford within your budget that's reasonable, that's achievable within your budget. But put it in there as the very first line. And this is something that I do and I've always done, and it kind of helps us emotionally, because a lot about saving and money is emotional. Is for us, by having it as a line in our budget, it is now a fixed expense. It is now a bill. And I won't spend that money, or we won't spend that money any more than we would have spent the mortgage money. We wouldn't have spent the electricity money. And now, because we've kind of changed our mindset of this and we've done it for a while and it's become a habit that we've formed, it is a bill, it is a line. And writing it first really does help. Let me know where on your budget, if you write one, or if you were to write one, where would you put savings? Would you put it first and have it as a bill? Do you see it as a bill? Do you see it as a fixed expense? Or do you put it elsewhere in there? Does it not matter to you in which order things go on your budget? Let me know. I'm always interested to hear. I've got a really nice bonus for you now. When we talk about saving, sometimes we need to save money on something specific. So if your general target is to save money on food, I'm going to give you some smart target tips on this one. So be far more specific than just saying, I want to save money at the supermarket. So yours could be to spend less than a nominal amount of money on food a month. So it could be you're spending $400, pounds, euros a month on food, but you want to spend $350 or $375 or bring it down to $300. Set a very specific number. The next one is making your targets measurable. And measurable is this one. So your measurable target could be, we will eat all of our main meals at home, and 4 of those main meals a week will have fish or meat, and 3 won't, or the other way around. 3 will have fish and meat, or meat, and 4 won't. Really measurable targets. The next one, it needs to be achievable. And this is achievable one, is I would say, if you're not a meal planner, if you're not a batch cooker, if you're not any of those things, is to, when you are doing some kind of planning to help you, come up with 5, 10, 15, preferably 20 meals that you would definitely eat. Stick them in the meal plan somewhere. The next one is being realistic. So within your meal plan, to keep your food prices lower or to lower them in some way and be really realistic, make sure you're planning in there at least one very easy meal a week. Think of a tray bake meal. You just shove everything on a tray or shove everything in the air fryer. Chicken breasts, pieces of potatoes, mixed frozen vegetables, stick them in the air fryer, stick some seasoning over the top of it and a tiny sprinkle of oil, stir it, switch it on, eat it. That's so simple, isn't it? Ready-made pizza. Have something in there that means you will not slip from your target to eat your main meals at home, and you won't slip and you won't go out and buy takeout food, or what we British call a Britishism of the week, takeaway food. So set that as really realistic. And then timely. This one's a timely one. If you want to save money on food, a timely manner would be Plan every morning you're going to take something out of the freezer for dinner. Packet of sausages, pork chops, some frozen fish, some things that you bought at the weekend, popped in the freezer that you take out. Another one would be here, every weekend, write some kind of a plan. I'm not suggesting everybody's going to do this. I know some of you don't like to plan. I know some of you just like to buy food and spontaneously cook it. That's fine. That's fine. But I hope you found those SMART targets useful for food. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.